Okay, so I had a very interesting day Friday. Thursday night, I had to go out of town, pretty much out of emergency, and I did not get back until sometime around the morning of Friday morning. And I didn't even get to catch the news. And that night, sometime while I was, scanning through on the news, I heard from my mom, who told me that John Hughes had died. And I was like, oh man, that didn't, what? I didn't even hear anything about that. So I went to go look on CNN, or I think it was like either Fox News or one of those, and I didn't hear anything ever from anything I was looking on. I looked on the internet, and only there that I saw that they had a small little area over on the side in the middle of nowhere that said, "Oh, John Hughes had passed away." Again, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe they had it all day or something, but from what I saw, it was kind of weird that everyone would just shrug that over to the side because uh, John Hughes, I think, is a very unsung writer, at least for his time. He made some of the most fantastic movies about growing up in the 80s, but that's actually something I'll get to in just a second. Uh, every single one of his movies that you watch, all of it's classics without a doubt. Uh, Ferris Bueller's Day Off, The Breakfast Club, was I don't know why they're escaping me right now. Weird Science, Purdy and Pink, 16 Candles, which I just actually got to watch 16 Candles last night for the first time. I've been hearing about how good it was, and that is such a cute, fun little movie. I really enjoyed that, and it's weird because it's one of the most insightful movies of its subject matter, and that movie that I've seen for many years, and that movie came out like 20 something years ago, I believe. But I just watching all of his movies, even though they were made in the 80s, you can watch those movies in the 90s and here in this decade, and they still have such an impact on the the culture that is, or the culture that it's hitting on, or the youth at that time, because it's not just because the movies were about growing up in the 80s, but the movies were about growing up, period. And a that's such a universal story, or so I don't know what the word I'm looking for, but it's such a universal idea to throw out there of what it's like to grow up, because everyone went through it at one time, and those movies, they capture it just so well. And every single one of his movies, at least for the 80s and or most of the 90s, were just so good. I love just so many of his movies I enjoyed. He did kind of lose his way a little bit with the later years of his career, with movies like bad, terrible cash-in movies like Home Alone 4, and that just straight to DVD crap, and what was it? Oh yeah, the absolutely horrible movie that just came out not too long ago called Drill Bit Taylor. I was stunned that he had anything to do with that, because it was horrible. But I don't want to really discredit his work, because the point of me making this video is just that I really, really like John Hughes, and I really think that his work is the movies in my mind right now. Ferris Bueller's Day Off, which I could watch a billion times. I love that movie so much. I loved it. I loved it. I loved it. It was so good. Uh, Ferris Bueller's Day Off, uh, Weird Science, Breakfast Club, of course, 16 Candles, all those movies. The reason why those movies are still being watched today is because they're so ingrained into the spirit, pretty much, because those movies, they, even though they're made at a different time, those movies, they hit a certain chord with you of what it was like to be a kid and what it was like to grow up and feel pains of when you're growing up. And he just hit it so well. And you know what? I was really sad to hear that he passed away. And John Hughes, you will be missed. And my thoughts do go out to the family, to your family and friends. But the work that you did, or the movie, the work you did in the movies that everybody keeps remembering for, those movies, they will be around forever. I don't see those movies going away. And yeah, you made a really, really big impact on the movie industry, or especially pop culture. So this is just me sending out, my little thoughts on John Hughes. And again, you will be missed, but pretty much with the movies that you made, man, you'll be around forever. All right.